Well, it finally happened. This morning, we got the news that Nadhim Zahawi has finally, finally been kicked out of office as chair of the Conservative Party. A very big role, certainly for someone like Zahawi, who has sort of really been around sort of the party quite a while, quite an important role, someone who is up to sort of the challenge for, trying to rally the Conservative Party, to action. That's sort of his job, to get the party behind the Prime Minister. Um, of course, as you know, um, the party is anything but united behind the Prime Minister, especially at this moment in time. But this has been a long time coming. And throughout all this stuff, everyone almost instantly said from day one, from everything we can see, Zahawi should go. Like, he should just go now. He should just step back, take the L, and go to the backbenchers. And everyone was pretty much saying that from day one, of course, except Nadhim Zahawi, who I think was trying to certainly advance, shall we say, his position, certainly within the Conservative Party. Remember, you've only got to go back around, 12 months almost at this point now? It was not that long ago where Nadhim Zahawi was considering a run at being the leader of the Conservative Party. This is someone who had very, very big political ambitions. And being chair of the Conservative Party is no small role. As I said at the beginning, it is his job to get the party active and energized and get, them behind the Prime Minister. And I also want to point out as well that it was not just, the shall we say, the non-conservatives calling for him to go. We had seen, especially for the past sort of week, really going into this week, there were a lot of calls from conservatives calling for him to go, because Sunak's entire job, well, at least one of his jobs, and a lot of people said, Sunak has to show that this is a new day, a new dawn for the Conservative Party, that the era of sleaze that we had seen under Boris Johnson was over, that was it. He was closing the door on this, on this chapter, that he was, turning the page. It was a brand new Conservative Party. He was here, and he was going to make sure that these types of things were not, on. Now, I'll give him this. He eventually sacked Nadhim Zahawi. Eventually. But only after, as he said, the investigation took place. But as a lot of people said, you don't really need this investigation. It is very clear he has had a serious breach of the ministerial code, and he needs to go. And as I've said, I follow and started sort of looking into and following Conservative Home, pretty much because it has such an influential role in the non-Conservative Party. And even when they're telling, the Conservative Party, look, this guy needs to go because he's only going to cause further embarrassment for us. So what happens now in this case? And why, could this cause, I think, a bigger rift in the party? So now what is open is a new cabinet position. And you may remember back when, of course, Sunak came in, there were a lot of people saying that, look, Sunak is not going to be able to appoint his own cabinet because there are all these factions vying for, their power, their guy to be at the seat of the wheel, and having someone from their faction in a very key role, which this absolutely is a very key role, is a big win for them. So it is very likely we could be seeing potentially these factions, certainly over the next, potentially the next 24 hours, jostling to see who gets this very, very influential cabinet position. So we'll have to see who gets the job. As of yet, when I'm recording this, there has been no announcement to replace him. Like I say, at the time of doing this, he's only been announced or at least got the sack roughly about 2 hours or so. I mean, Michael Gove got informed live on air, and he did not look happy. That's for sure. But yeah, this could, I think, be an interesting fight. I think once again, Sunak is not going to be able to appoint the person he would like because he's shown he is very, very weak to the point where even when it was very clear that he had to go, Sunak was constantly going, I don't know, I'll wait, I'll see what the investigation has to say. And of course, the investigation came out and said, no, look, he has to go. In fact, I saw the report about this on Sky News this morning, and their political commentator basically said, "Look, this was brutal. It was the note from the sort of ethics investigator that Rishi Sunak had sort of set up, basically said, look, he has to go. He has to go. So, what's next for Zahawi? Well, ultimately, I think he will return to the backbenchers. But this is a guy who clearly has further political ambitions. I don't think we have seen the end of Nadhim Zahawi. I think he will be back, maybe in some shape or form. It is all likely, to be honest, he will go and sort of chill on the backbenchers for a while, let the heat sort of die off, and then maybe he'll return, maybe in some sort of capacity. You don't know when, but he might return in some way, shape, or form. But we haven't heard the last of him, except we've now got calls saying that because of how serious this breach was, he should resign as an MP. Now, will Rishi Sunak follow through and resign and sort of ask him to resign? Doubtful. I very much doubt that Sunak generally has the power at this moment in time to ask him that, even when he has, the report from the ethics committee saying, yeah, look, he should be gone. We'll see if that happens. Of course, the loudest call from this, actually, surprisingly, is, of course, the Lib Dems, because if he goes, this could be yet another potential arrow in their quiver in the blue wall, because they are very, very eager to try and unseat him, because they think they could win in his constituency, which would be very, very embarrassing for Sunak. Will he go that far? I doubt it. I don't think he has the power. We'll see in the next coming days whether maybe Zahawi himself will step down. Maybe people will just go, look, you're going to cause a lot of heat. It's best you just, go now and not stay. He might not be able to sort of survive, shall we say, the heat being on the backbenchers. I think there's going to be a lot of questions asked, of course, still about why Sunak put him in this role. I've said it before. Everyone in Sunak's cabinet comes from different factions and have jostled for their position to be there. There were deals done in the background. We know that pretty much for certain that is the case. But it's just a question of what deal was, keeping Zahawi there. Will someone else from a similar faction take up the role? Who knows? We'll have to see who takes his place. But everything's now for the moment. This could be interesting, and it will depend what happens to Zahawi now. I've said before, he's got political ambitions. I don't think this will be the last of we see of him, but you never know. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button on your way out. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page, the one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, the Pony Club down below as well. So as always, until then, we'll see you all very soon.